Hey guys, I forgot to go live. I turned on the music and forgot to go live. How you guys doing? Let's do this right, shall we? Let's do this right. Let's try this again. All right, we're back. How you guys doing? Welcome to Massive Iron Live. Welcome to Friday, the last Friday before Santa comes. Better get your act together. Welcome to Massive Iron Live, the longest running lifting podcast in the history of the universe. I appreciate you guys being here. We are fully loaded today. We're doing this prime. I get these at Ollie's. Is that what it's called? For like 89 cents a piece. They taste great, taste better than Monsters. And kind of my new addiction. How you guys doing? Thank you for tuning in. It is yet another edition of Lifting Talk. If you guys are new here, don't hesitate to post up your questions. Doesn't matter if they've been asked 1,000 times before. That's what we're here for. So post up your questions, training, nutrition, off topic, as long as they're not offensive or idiotic. We can talk off topic. So hope you guys are doing well. Just a couple of things before we dive in. If your questions don't go through, it's not me censoring you or throttling you. Try to shorten or reword your questions. Sometimes longer questions won't go through on the old YouTube. And if you use naughty words, sometimes YouTube doesn't like specific words. So if your questions don't go through, you can try rewording them. If you are tuning in late to the party and you're unable to ask a question live, you can head over to Instagram, @the slide into my DM. I answer every question over there on Instagram. All right, so a couple of things before we get started. The new year is coming. Basically, January 6th, I believe, is a Monday. So a lot of us, probably me and you, are going to get started full speed on January 6th, right? Let me adjust this massive hat. It's kind of crooked here on my noodle. We're going to get, we got like eyelash stuff going on. And a lot of us are going to get started like on the 6th. So I have something called the 10-100. And I want you guys to listen to this, okay? Because I'm going to be putting this together this weekend. I'm going to be reworking it. The 10-100 is a program that I did about, 5 years ago. Basically, I'd had 10 challenges that you would try to do over the course of 100 days. Now, the original, only one person completed it. Only one person completed it. And I think I got to like day 38 or 40 or whatever, and I bonked out for whatever reason. So here's the thing. If you want something exciting to do during the new year, regardless of whether you're cutting or bulking or whatever you're doing, the new version is going to have 30 different challenges, okay? 30. All you have to do is pick 10. You're going to pick 10 out of the 30, so it's kind of a la carte. You go into the buffet of fitness, buffet of nutrition. you're going to pick out 10 challenges to run for 100 days. For example, it could be 10,000 steps a day. It could be a calorie limit a day. It could be staying within your bulking calorie target within a certain amount of tolerance. It could be relying on only animal and plant-based foods. It could be adherence to your program, working out 4 times a week. It could be anything. I'm going to detail all of these challenges, and you get to pick 10, and you basically want to try to stick to them for the first 100 days of the year. So if you guys want to do that on your own, that's fine. If you want to join the Massive Iron Discord server and join us to do this, you can check out the link in the description of any of my videos. And if you are unable to find the link, just DM me on Instagram or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. So one more thing before we get started. All right, one more thing before we get started. Coaching, this is my hot time of year. I'm looking for people to hop on for coaching. I usually stay pretty booked between now and June. So I do have a coaching special, a year-long coaching special, $7.99. It'll save you $333. A year is a long time to commit. There's a coaching tab over here, okay? If you don't want to sign on for a year, after the first month, it's $89.40. That's it. One of the best deals you're going to get in coaching, and I'm not going to, just because the price is reasonable doesn't mean you're not going to get a good value. I'm with you every single day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I don't do the weekly check-in nonsense. I do daily check-ins. I want to stay in your flow, in your rhythms, in your patterns, connected with you. Not going to take up a lot of your time. No cookie cutter nonsense. Everything I do is custom, based on your needs and your goals. I had somebody approach me this week and say, with coaching, I want to lose weight. I want to maintain strength. You know, do you just do strength training? Do you just do 80%, 90% of my clients are really well-rounded. They want a better body composition. Not everyone cares about strength. Some people run. Some people are involved with martial arts, a wide variety of goals. But because of my background, because I've done ultra running and I've done powerlifting and bodybuilding is my passion, and I've done recomp and I've lost a lot of weight, I have a lot of experience in a lot of different areas. And because I'm just an old, ugly son of a gun, right? So whatever your goals are, I can help you. But if you haven't had a coach before you spend your money on fancy supplements or MK677 or Turkesterone or any of that other happy horse poop, right? Consider coaching. I'd love to work with you. Again, it's only $89.40 per month after the first month. Check out the link. All right, let's get into stuff, shall we? Let's get into the stuffy stuff. How you guys doing? I hope you had a good training week. Big Joe B, Klein on. Good morning, Team Massive. In your opinion, how much weight can a person safely lose per week on a hard cut? There's no danger zone for weight loss. The whole concept is really misguided, and it's something that is stuffed down your guys' face like somehow there's a dangerous level of weight loss. Some of my best clients, or I would say I have a few clients that are absolutely nailing the bulking and cutting protocol. And Harut, which is one of my cutting masters, loses right now. He's losing about 3.5 pounds a week. There's no limit. There's no unsafe variable unless you're simply starving yourself and not putting nutrients in your body, which would be ridiculous. And we're not encouraging that. So you go to as low of a calorie deficit as you can sustain. There's no downside. You're not going to lose muscle, right? The whole concept is idiotic. Like somehow you lose muscle and it's gone forever and you can't, where did it go, right? It doesn't work like that. You build muscle. And even if, worst case scenario, you would lose a couple of grams during a short-term cut, even if you would lose a couple ounces, even if muscle memory is your friend, you're going to get it back right away. And you're not really going to lose muscle. So we just have to kind of flush the whole concept. I beat this drum over and over again, and I hope you guys hear the message because it's important. Don't worry about that. Get the fat off. The key thing on a cut is we need to get the fat off, and we need to get back to building, right? There's no downsides, no negatives. The only negative is that it sucks being in a cut and not putting food in your mouth. So don't worry about it. Whoever the qualifier Joe is putting at the end, some people say 1% of body. All that stuff is just arbitrary, random crap. It's just stuff people put in videos. What happens when you hit 1.1? What unsafe thing happens, right? Nothing. There's no unsafe thing. There were times in the mid-2000s where I would cut my calories down 1,800, and I remember 1 month I lost 25 pounds, 1 month I lost 21 pounds. What unhealthy thing happened? Nothing. I lost fat. There's nothing unhealthy going on. So just flush that whole concept. This industry is good at inducing fear. And one of my missions, especially towards the end of this year, has been pulling that fear out from under them. You know, that we don't need to live in fear. The body is not that fragile. You're not going to lose massive amounts of muscle. You're not really going to lose any muscle. And even if you do, muscle memory is your friend. I have been interviewing fitness fanatics, natural bodybuilders, for a very, very long time. You can find a lot of my interviews over on Muscle and Strength. The original interviews with guys like Sean Clarita, while Sean was still natural, and guys like Sean Sully Sullivan. Back when I interviewed Sean Sully Sullivan, I don't know when it was, 2008, 2009, natural bodybuilder. You probably never heard of him. No disrespect to Sean, but he had competed over 70 times in something like 20 to 25 years, constantly doing the bulking and cutting cycles, nailing it. This is somebody that's cut for a show over 70 times. It's not like every time you cut, you lose mass and it just disappears and it's somehow shaved off your natural potential. Doesn't work like that. If you lose even a little bit, it comes right back. It comes right back. But I don't even like to say that because the fear is so misguided. Nothing to worry about. Nothing unsafe is going to happen. You're going to look better. That's it. And you're going to get out of the cut quicker. Martin, client of mine, Merry Christmas to the massive family. Merry Christmas to you all. And for those of you that don't celebrate Christmas, whether a spiritual, religious holiday or a cultural event, because it's very much part of our culture. Whatever you celebrate, all we have is love and good wishes for everybody. This channel is all about servitude, serving with our gifts, and whoever you are, wherever you're at, whatever you believe, doesn't matter. Be about serving people with your gifts. Be about using your skills and your gifts for the common good. What better thing is there in life to use your talents and your skills and your abilities to the best you can to benefit the people around you or to enrich the lives of people around you? That's my only goal when I wake up. People can say what they want about what I teach or what I believe, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go to my grave on this hill, doing everything I can to save you guys time, to educate you on the proper ways, and to be there for you when you do not believe you're on the right track. Big Joe B, what's the lowest calories? We just covered this. There's no low end. There's no magic number. You do whatever you can sustain. And you're saying that would include steady state cardio. You can do whatever amount of cardio you want. There's no numbers, no formulas. It's all sustainability. Now, we probably don't want to do, 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour cardio a day. At that point, I'd just rather reduce my calories by 200, 300, or 400 and sit on the couch, right, and suffer. It's all up to where you want to suffer, but there's no magic numbers. Can you talk through the difference and form cues of the JM press versus the close grip bench? Okay, so I'm going to remove this off the screen. Can we talk about the difference between the close grip bench and the JM press? What we're going to do for starters is we're going to talk about your bench press grip. Okay, your bench press grip, basically you want to have a starting point is having your wrists about over your elbows, right about here. Arms, you obviously don't want your arms flared. Bring your arms down to about 45 degrees, and this is a good starting position. You want things to be natural, right? We don't want to create arbitrary angles. So-and-so said, the angle of my bench press needs to be 53.42% or anything like that. We don't need any arbitrary numbers. You have unique limb lengths and leverages. You might have longer arms. You might have shorter arms. I have longer arms. That's why I can deadlift better than I can bench press. That's one reason why I seem to excel at the deadlift and have a hard time getting my bench press above 400. So natural, you're going to have a natural angle for your bench press. Okay. Whatever that is, you're going to work that out. Sometimes a little bit wider, wrists beyond your elbows is good because it can sometimes, and this is a generalization, call into play a little bit more of your chesticles. So you get kind of your wrists over your elbows for the bench. And we're going to discuss the close grip and the JM press. And then you can push it out a little bit wider if you want. Now, I'm going to set the table with something that is controversial and tends to piss off the idiots in the lifting industry. On a bench press, you don't have to bring the bar down to your chest. Okay, you don't. It's an arbitrary stopping point. Now, I'm not encouraging you to hang it really high. That would be foolish, and that would be arbitrary as well. But as you are lowering the bench, you want to take it to a point that feels good for your shoulders. The further back your elbows go, generally the more stress you're going to place on your shoulders. So while it's a good idea to kiss the t-shirt, touch the bar on your chest, and then press up, if it causes you any shoulder distress, I want you to know that you can leave the bar an inch or two above your chest. I do that in training. And whenever I post a video on my bench press online, I always get a couple people who say you're cheating or the bar doesn't go to your chest, it doesn't count. Like somehow my training is a competition with that fellow, right? Oh, it doesn't count. You win. Great. I'm still going to bench the way I want to bench to save my shoulders because I'm 57 years old and I've done a pretty good job of saving my shoulders to date. So we have that established. You have your bench grip and we're going there. So be patient with me. Now on your close grip, you want to bring your close grip bench in about palms width. So wherever your bench width is, you're going to bring it in right there. That's it. That's it. A minor shift. We're not doing the bodybuilder, the thing they did during the 70s and 80s with the real close grip. Close grip doesn't mean extreme close grip. When you do this, you're going to get that internal shoulder rotation and you're going to get stress on your wrists, right? Does this look like a position of strength? It looks like a dying T-Rex, right? It looks like an old grandpa at Walmart, age 90, trying to buy toilet paper. This is not a position of strength. So you have your bench, you bring it in about a palm, right? About a palm's width in. And on the close grip, instead of lowering it to your chest, you can hang it a few inches high because we are trying to stress the triceps. We're trying to shift more stress to the triceps. Does this making sense? So we bring our width in. We're doing a close grip bench. Same action as the bench press, just a little bit closer. Not like this. Okay. Now you bring it down naturally. Your arms are going to be probably a little bit more tucked than on a bench press, probably. So, excuse me. So let me get a drink here. Choking on my own thoughts. So that's the close grip bench. Okay. It's going to land somewhere in this area. A JM press, you are going to take your close grip bench and you're probably going to bring it in about another half palm or even a palm. So it's going to be here, more like a skull crusher type of level, because we are going to be on a skull crusher. You're bringing the bar down here. You don't want it way out here because that's going to place weird shoulder stress, place some weird shoulder stress on your shoulders. Redundant, right? So we don't want ultra wide, and to try to do this, it would really cause some weird external shoulder rotation. So we want to bring it in for a skull crusher, and the same thing for a JM press. Now, a JM press, you're going to aim to bring the bar somewhere from here, the bottom of my zipper, up to here, the mouth, this range. Okay. A skull crusher, you're bringing it kind of to the top of your head, not actually up here on your skull. You want to get a little bit of elbow rotation. So for the JM press, you start with a little bit more narrow grip than a close grip, and you allow your elbows to naturally go where they want to go. We don't arbitrarily keep them at an angle parallel to the body because we like arbitrary angles. That's not the way the body works. We should always seek to keep movement patterns feeling natural. Okay, feeling natural. When we clench things in or force things in arbitrary areas and place unwanted pressure or stress, a lot of times we're going to do bad things when we lift heavy weight. So we're going to lower the JM press down here, kind of an elbow bend, kind of an extension like this. Okay, a close grip, you're bringing the elbows back. A JM, the elbows are kind of staying above your chest. Does that make sense? So with a close grip and a bench, your elbows are going back and your elbows are going to push back further than your back. On a JM press, you bend down and your elbows are generally staying above the front of your body. Does that make sense? So JM press, you don't have to bring it down to your neck, your Adam's apple, your chin. You only lower it to the point where it feels comfortable, where you can maintain solid leverage, and you press it back up. So that is the difference between a JM press and a close grip bench press and how to set it up. I hope that helped. Andrew, I don't upper days a week. Andrew says he doesn't upper days a week. Okay. Sorry, Andrew. I'm trying to figure out, not making fun of you. First upper day, my first back movement is heavy low rep lat pulls. Okay. On my second upper day, I do heavy row as first exercise, and then do the lat pull downs later and lower weight and higher reps. That sounds reasonable. Are the lighter lat pulls? No, they're not junk volume. Anything you have with progression is not junk volume. Rep ranges really don't matter. They should suit the exercise and suit your preference. We don't have to work within the 5 to 6 or 5 to 8 rep range. The demands of every exercise are different. Okay, every exercise is going to feel different. So anybody out there in the lifting world that prescribes a certain rep range for every exercise is a functional idiot. Functional meaning they can get up and brush their teeth and probably drive a car, but they should not be teaching you lifting because they do not understand that the demands of every exercise are different. And we don't arbitrarily say you work within the same rep range for every exercise. That is just flat out dumb. It's dense. There's no other way to say it. So a key to long-term lifting success is working within a reasonable rep range. Okay. What's reasonable from a hypertrophy standpoint? Generally 5 to 12 is the reasonable level, and you can go as high as 15 or 20, depending on the context. I mean, if you did 5 sets of 20 on leg presses and you were focused on progressive overload, that would be brutality. There's no junk volume there. You can do that as long as you're progressing. But we don't want to get involved when arbitrary lands. So you need a reasonable rep range, okay? And you need a progression approach. And on that progression approach, you need to at least push one set for every exercise for maximum safe quality reps, not to failure, but to maximum safe quality reps. When your form starts to break down, or when you feel you might fail on the next rep, then you can stop. If you want to continue to failure, technical failure, mechanical failure, on a row, that would be a slowing of speed. On a press, that would be a slowing of speed. On squats and deadlifts, that would probably severely cripple you, put you in a really crazy pain zone. We don't want to do that with posterior movements. So no, not junk volume. If you have a progression approach, at least one set for every exercise is pushed for maximum safe quality reps. So you're pushing the bar up week in and week out, and you have a reasonable classic rep range. There's no junk volume involved. The fear here that Andrew has is something that's being planted in his brain from the fear-mongering side of the influencer world, that there's a magic rep range, or somehow if you don't do things the way they do it, it's junk volume. I'm not going to lead you guys astray. It's a long journey. You don't have to be perfect. Over 10, 10, 15 years, you don't have to maximize every set. But you do need to maximize at least one set per exercise. Some people want to fight you over that, but these are the dogmatists. They don't understand the big picture, the long run, the long road. Not everybody is robotic. Not everybody can be perfect. Nobody will be perfect and push every set to technical failure for max safe reps over the entire career of lifting. They're going to pick up aches and strains and pains. So we have to relax, right? No junk volume here. As long as you have a progression opportunity and you're following it, that's going to float the boat higher and higher and higher and place more stress on the body. If you look at total volume, okay, total volume, let me pull up a calculator here because I think this is important. I don't see people do this very often. So let me just share the screen. And I want to talk about this just for a brief moment, okay? So here we have a calculator, and I'm just making fun. It's calculator, I know that, right? So let's say you have 180 pounds on the bench press, and you do 3 sets of 10 reps, okay? Let's dumb things down and say that's 5,400 pounds of pressure. So if you're standing there, minding your own business, and somebody places 5,400 pounds of pressure on your head, you're going to have to adapt, and the body is going to have to strengthen to be able to hold that weight. So think of volume as external pressure being applied to the body. Does that make sense? It's going to be applied to the body in different ways, through different planes and through different angles of force and so on and so forth. But think of volume of an exercise as external pressure being placed on the body, and the body has to respond by pushing back or strengthening enough to be able to sustain or hold or push back against that pressure or that volume. On a squat, that's pushing up. On a deadlift, that's pulling it off the ground, which would be the same as putting it on your back, just a different way of doing it. A press, you're doing this. A pull, you're doing this. It's pressure. You're learning to, your body is strengthening as a reaction to this pressure or force being placed on your body in various ways. So even if you only work one set out of the bench press for max safe reps, and the other 2 float up as the first set improves, let's look at what the difference in overall stress. Here we have 5,400 total volume of pounds. So this was with a 180 bench press. Let's say you move that up to 200 just by pushing that first set up, and you get 3 sets of 10. All of a sudden, you're at 6,000 total pounds of pressure over 3 sets. So while we didn't maximize every set, we have increased the average stress of each set from 1,800 pounds, 180 pounds for 10 reps, to 200 pounds for 10 reps. So we have progressed the other 2 sets. Okay. We have progressed even though we've only pushed 1 set to the limit. Now, if you're at 180 and you do 3 sets of 10 and you never push any of the sets, this volume's never going to go up, right? So as long as you're floating at least 1 set, you're fine. Now, I'm not telling you you need to do only 1 set for max safe reps. Most of my clients on bench press, I encourage them to do 3. But here's the thing. You don't have to panic on any given day if you don't feel like doing all 3, or maybe you can only squeeze 2 sets in. It's a busy gym. Don't panic, relax. The body's going to be fine. It's okay to be 80% or 100% of the time. What do I mean by that? You don't have to maximize everything and be Mr. Super Optimal 100% of the time. This is a long road. And if you're optimal, if you're maximal, 80% of the time, 100% of the time, you're going to be fine. Does that make sense? All right. Tanya, client of mine. I'm not sure if Tanya, do you pronounce it Tanya or Tanja? Because in America, we would assume that we would just say Tanya, but I'm not sure of the pronunciation. So feel free to correct me. What lifting exercises or modifications are effective for correcting strength imbalances between the left and right? What I'm about to say is going to sound controversial, confusing, but the answer is none. The answer is really none. Here's what I mean. Nearly everybody I've ever met, personally or in the world of lifting, has one side that's slightly stronger and slightly bigger than the other. My right arm and my right thigh are a ½ inch bigger than my left arm and my left thigh. When I started dumbbell rowing way back when, I think I started with 40-pound dumbbells, and my right arm was 2 or 3 reps stronger than my left arm. I got up to dumbbell rows, 200, 220, 250. Guess what? My right arm was still 2 or 3 reps stronger than my left arm. So while the gap probably won't change, it gets minimized as you get stronger. Will your left arm ever catch up to your right arm in size or vice versa? Probably not. Do you need to spend your entire lifting career obsessed with this small difference when it's probably not going to fix it? No, because it's a colossal waste of time. Everything we are doing is all we can do already. We're doing barbell rows. We are doing dumbbell rows. We're doing unilaterals. We're doing machines. We're doing exercise variety. We are doing everything we can. I have done ridiculous things over the years in every possible way you can think of. And from what I've seen of myself and my clients and looking at client data for many, many, many years and over 1,000 clients, nothing changes really, unless you're some kind of a freak. And then the gap closes, but it's nothing to worry about. I'm going to skip way ahead to this last question because it caught my eye and we'll bounce back. Why do rows get a bad rap? Are you talking about barbell rows or pendley rows? I hear they are not good lat builders and focus on it. Maybe a barbell row. I made a video recently about barbell rows, so check that out. Pendley rows are a wonderful variation, but we have to be careful with this because there's many different forms of barbell rows. Check out the video I made recently. Barbell rows, people tend to get sloppy with them. They tend to lose discipline to chase weight. So any exercise that you cheat on is going to diminish the results you get from that exercise. Bench press, the same thing. One of the things that drives me crazy is when people bounce the bar off their chest on bench. Stop it. Stop it. Control. Stop bouncing the fucking bar off your chest. Excuse my language. Please stop doing that. We are not apes. We are not animals. We are reasonable human beings. Stop bouncing the fucking bar off your chest. But I feel weaker. Of course, you're bouncing the bar off your chest to get that. What end point does that serve? So, sorry to be so in your face, but any exercise you cheat is going to diminish the impact. Barbell rows or bench, it's the same story. On a barbell row, a standing row, people tend to see the torso drive up long before the elbows drive up. So in that sense, it is working your erectors more because there is no discipline, right? There's the elbows always have to lead. You always have, whatever position you're in, your head and your torso are locked into place. And you lead with the elbow drive. You're thinking about driving your elbows and shoulders back at the same time. Think of it like a martial arts strike, like a rear elbow strike. Boom. You're going to think about driving your shoulder and elbow back at the same time. The shoulder moves back with the elbow, and we're not trying to compartmentalize it. It's all part of the same movement. But on a barbell row, you have your head and your torso locked in, and you drive your elbows back. And then because physics, right, you can't drive your elbows back without getting a little bit of reactionary upward torso movement as a response to this force generation. That is okay. It's okay for the torso to move back a little bit in response to elbow drive that is focused on hitting your back. Does that make sense? If the torso swings up, like you do this, and you're doing a hinge and hitting your erectors, then you drive your elbows back. You're trying to generate acceleration to help, okay? You're moving that torso up, which is accelerating, and it's accelerating your arms as well because you're moving your torso up. So you're getting that acceleration, and then you're taking advantage of the acceleration to drive your elbows back. Not very focused. Could you still target your upper back doing that? Yes, you could. It's not an either or switch. There are many. I've seen guys that can cheat a little bit like this and still target their upper back. So we just have to be cognizant. We have to be aware of what is going on. And in all things, regardless of how we do things, if you cheat a little bit, you better have an acute focus on working your upper back. So that lockout is extremely focused on hitting your upper back. Does that make sense? But that is why barbell rows get a bad rap. But if we want to play the knucklehead influencer game and say, don't ever do one exercise because it can be abused, then we need to throw everything out. Are you hearing me? Then we need to throw everything out because everything can be abused. Squats are abused. Deadlifts are abused. Bench press is abused. Curls are abused. Everything is abused. So when you have this dense influencer logic that because an exercise can be abused, therefore it's never a good choice, this isn't science-based, it's idiot-based. I know I sound harsh, but let's be real here. Me and you talking in a bar, sitting over a drink, right? Generalization, because something can be abused doesn't mean it's inherently bad. Anything can be abused in the gym. All you need to do is turn on Tiki-Taki and see all these people doing this stupid crap. Bench press gets abused as much as barbell rows. We get people that do singles and doubles and are bouncing the bar off their chest. They're not controlling the weight down, right? And that drives me crazy because we're getting loose. We're going to beat up our shoulders to a degree, and we're losing some of the stress on our chest. Instead of using our chest to press the bar off our chest, redundant, we're bouncing it, right? And there's no control. Get your shit together on bench press. Get your shit together on barbell rows. Now, do I feel the barbell row is the best choice, the best variation of that barbell back exercise? No, I do not personally believe it is. That doesn't mean you can't use it. That doesn't mean some of my clients can't use it. Some of my clients use it and they do it fine because we watch it. You can certainly use it and use it well. Do I feel that the pendlay row is a slightly better exercise when you are doing a barbell row? Yes, I do, because we start with a dead stop from a dead stop position, and it's harder to just drive it up with your torso. It becomes more blatant. So we brace our hips just slightly below our shoulders, and we focus the drive. And from that, your torso will move up a little bit, but we try to keep our head locked in with our torso. If you're doing a pendlay row and you start to see this, right? You're right. That's what I call the head whip. That usually means the weight is too heavy and you're trying to cheat it up. So I hope that helps some. Let's get back to the earlier questions, but I wanted to jump in on that because it was a good question. And I made a video about it recently about the barbell rows. Please go check it out. Please go check it out. Let's see. Where are we at? Ice cold Tristan. Happy Friday. Let me get a drink. That's a lot of ice in there. It was a lot of ice. All right. We're gonna Tristan says if any knucklehead influencer says that any free weight exercise can be abused, then they should stick to their optimal machine exercise. Everything can be abused. That's not a reason to give up an exercise. We have better logic skills than that. We're not dum-dums, right? Glad you dum-dum. Glad I made it through 5x5 on close grip. That's really good strength. Nice work. I should be able to hit 225 or slightly more next week for a single. Yeah, absolutely. When you can do a 5x5, I would definitely expect at least a 25% bump in your 1 rep max strength. So good luck getting on video and share it with the world so we can celebrate with you. Good morning, Steve. Good morning. How do you set up lat pull downs if the weight is greater than your body weight? Well, I saw this question before we came on, and I'm trying to picture your setup because in most cases, obviously you have a knee pad to get your weight wedged under, your body wedged under your legs. But I guess the issue for you is because of the mechanics and leverages of the machine, it's hard for you to get that weight down to get your knees under. So for those of you guys reading this question, that is the question. The only thing you can really do is try to cheat it down or plant a foot on something and pull it down and then get under. Beyond that, there's nothing you can really do beyond having somebody help you. Big Billy Baker, client of mine, I'm finding it difficult to hit daily steps. What would you recommend doing for movement in winter when it's too cold or messy outside for lunchtime walks? Okay, I want you guys to come up with some suggestions. What's a way to get in extra activity indoors when you can't do steps? Now, the funnest one, well, we ain't going to talk about that, but it involves, I will say, maybe a mattress and some kinetic energy, right? Something, some oscillation, but not to be crude. We're just using a little bit Friday humor. Indoors, one of the things I used to do, and I'm from Wisconsin. I don't live in Wisconsin now, but I'm a cheesehead. And what I would do in the winter when it was so cold, your testicles would want to freeze and fall off, is I would do step-ups. Now, you can get an aerobic step. I'm going to show you what these are if you don't know what I'm talking about. At Walmart, Amazon, Dick's, whatever it happens to be. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up just for reference in case you guys don't know what an aerobics step is. So present. Want to make sure there wasn't anything weird in the search results. You never know. This is 2024. You can find these $94. I have this exact one in my gym, and I swore I paid like $30 for it. Good grief. I would not pay $94 for that. I'd build one out of some old plywood. Here you can see this on Amazon. I have this one as well in my home gym. We have both. 33 bones, right? So you can generally find these on Facebook Marketplace, but see right here, we're not doing this fancy, sidestepping hoo-ha like these, these goofballs right here, or sticking your booty out. But you can simply do step ups. Step up left, step up right, step down, or excuse me, let's get this the right way. Step up right, step up left, step down right, step down left, and then do the other. Left, right, left, right, right, left, right, left. So you can put on your favorite movie, your favorite episode of Massive Iron Live, and you can just do step ups. You have a little bit of elevation, okay? So that's always a bonus for the heart rate. I used to do these endlessly during winter. Endlessly on the stairs in my mom's house. I didn't have an aerobic step. Literally endlessly. I got to tell you a story regarding this, and you probably won't believe it, but this goes back to World Championship Wrestling. Way back, I don't know if it was the late 70s, early 80s. There was a wrestler once that tried to show his physical prowess that did step-ups on a folding chair for an entire hour during an episode. So me being a young, impressionable teen, I'm like, I'm going to start doing step-ups. I started doing step-ups. I love step-ups. You don't need a high step, right? 8 inches or so is fine, 10 inches. But that is a good way to get in work in the middle of winter when you can't get your step-ups, and you can do it in place, and you can do it watching Massive Iron Live. So that would be my advice. And one of the things, this is going to sound really stupid as well, but I want to show you guys this because it was quite fun. And I used to do this, I guess you could say ghetto style, right? What other way are you going to put it? Whoops, I lost the link, but I want to show you guys this because this is kind of fun. It's probably a lot more a slide board. Okay, you guys ever heard of a slide board? What I used to do, okay, this is a slide board. It's like ice skating, right? Like a skater. I think hockey players do this indoors, during like this guy. This one's probably like a fortune. What we used to do, my mom had a linoleum floor in her dining room. So I would spray a little bit of I forgot what cleaning agent it was, something like polish, like furniture polish on the floor. And I'd sit there and do this as well. I was really crazy as a teen. I love physical activity. I would always be doing something. Step ups, my ghetto slide board. This is actually kind of a fun thing to do, if you're really into some weird things. The old slide board. I'm not sure what she's doing here, but this Lulu Bell is a little bit sideways. Like, what are you doing? You got to go sideways, Lulu Bell. But yeah, that can be a little bit of a choice option as well. All right. Barbell Beauty, happy Friday, Team Massive. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be testing my 1 rep max on bench. And the next 2 chest workouts before the end of the year will incorporating heavy holds help amp up. Not really. It's not really going to make a bit of a difference. You're better off just doing you don't want to wear yourself out from a glycogen standpoint. So if you're going to be trying a 150 bench, you could do a rep with 140 and just hold it for a little bit, like a couple, 2-3 extra seconds. But you don't have to go crazy. I've done this stuff. I've done holds that were super maximal. And at the end of the day, I don't really feel like they provided any substantial benefit beyond other things we could do. Does that make sense? Big Sam. If someone is benching 225 for 6, on average, how often should one be adding a rep to that lift, and how long before they can reach 315 on a bulk? So let's look at the specific math instead of theory. And this is something I do often with people. And I want to look at the 1 rep max calculator rather than just theory. Because if I say a 1 rep max, adding 1 rep to your top set adds at least 5 pounds, people are like, is he pulling that out of his, right? No, I'm not. So let's say you do 225 for 6, okay? And this is at strengthlevel.com. I like this calculator. I find it to be reasonable. 225 by 6. I'm not sure why it's showing me Yelp, because I don't think I've ever used Yelp in the last 5 years. 225 by 6 is an approximate 1 rep max of 261. So you want to reach 315. 1 rep max, I assume. I assume you're not trying to get 315 for 6, which would be a bonus. But let's look at, let's say you add 1 rep. You're at 261, okay? We're going to add a rep, just 1 rep. You go in, you gain a rep, boom. You're up to 270. You see that? Almost 9 pounds, 8.7 pounds to your 1 rep max. The stronger you get, the more impactful every rep gets. Therefore, the harder it is to add it. So you just added 1 rep and you're up 9 pounds on your bench. You're going to go in, you're going to get another one. Boom. Boom, 279. Another 9 pounds. Big Hairy Ugly Dude says it's going to add at least 5. It will when you're down around 135 or 140. You just added 2 reps. Now we're going to go up to 10, okay? So you added 4 reps. Start at 261. Now you're at 300. This is reps on your top set, okay? Now we're going to push it to 12, from 6 to 12. 6 to 12. Watch the magic. 315. 225 by 12 is 315. You need 6 rep additions. 6. That's the good news on your top set. 225 by 6 to 225 by 12. Very motivating. The problem is that it could take you a month to get 1 rep. That's not really a problem. That's normal. If you add 1 rep every month, you're adding 9 pounds to your bench at that strength level every month. That'd be over 100 pounds to your bench in a year. That's 1 rep a month. 1 rep every 6 weeks. Okay. You started at 6 and your max is 261, and it's been 5 weeks and you're boo-booing. I haven't added a rep, right? I'm doing something wrong. Everything's broken. I'm going to hop programs. I'm going to take testosterone. I'm going to buy Greg Doucette's $200 cookbook. I'm going to do everything other than sign up for coaching with the Big Hairy Ugly Dude, which you should be doing. So it's been 5 weeks and you haven't added a rep and you're in serious depression zone. I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. That's why I'm trying to help you guys. Keep your chin up, keep focused. You add a rep every 6 weeks. So let's say over the course of a year, that's 8. We took a couple of weeks off. You move it up from 225 by 6 to 225 by 14. That's 8 repetitions over the course of a year. Let's see what it does to your max. 330. You just added 69 pounds. The magic 69 pounds to your bench in a year, adding 1 rep every 6 weeks. Let that sink in. That doesn't seem like a lot of progress, but if you do that over the course of 2 years, you're benching way over 375. That's really good progress. That is the intermediate zone, my friends. That is the intermediate reality. People are always looking for a way to speed it up, but I'm here to tell you, and I'm not trying to burst your bubble. I'm just trying to plant you guys in reality. It's a long journey. Stay healthy. Don't program hop. Keep fighting. This is why it's so critical to nail precision bulks. It will facilitate maximal progress. If you are one of the knuckleheads, chuckleheads, knuckleberries, cloudberries, Sweden, just learned that this morning. If you're one of the cloudberries, whatever the heck that is, that you're getting all depressed and you're not nailing your nutrition and you want to build your bench press up and you want to have a 300-pound bench, but you don't take nutrition seriously and you got to this level just by luck and strength, you are a knucklehead. This is not a game for pretenders, players, and unprofessionals. You need to get your act together and get focused. If you want to become as big and as strong as you can, you need to focus and you need to be consistent, because I have been in this game a long time. And when I meet somebody in the gym that is moving heavy ass weight or has a huge amount of muscle mass, there's one thing I know, and I'm going to swear, and you can turn down your computer, but I'm going to tell you, they are fucking relentlessly consistent. I know it to a reasonable degree. I don't have to ask. They're borderline obsessed crazy. If you want to be on the periphery and mess around and be inconsistent with your nutrition or hop programs like a knucklehead, then you're your own worst enemy. I've said this before in a video, and I'm going to say it again. I want you to hear this because this is so very important. Are you a program hopper? You jump programs trying to find the magic program that'll get your bench up? I want to tell you something. Lean in. I'm going to tell you a secret. Program hopper, program hopper, program hopper. Here's the secret. Every program has the same damn exercises. Shelly, good morning, team. Massive strength test number 3 complete. Good job. I'm really proud of you. I hope you got some video of that. I can't wait to see it. Shelly may or may not be past 65. She's a client of mine, just a superhero. I'm super proud of her. 45s by 5. And she's going to, by next year, I have faith she'll be doing the 55. She might think I'm crazy for saying that, but I think it's coming. Big Michael. And Shelly is pretty darn small. You know, she's like, and I have to say this because on the internet, when you say that you're training, when you say a woman, let's be real here, because this is the bias that exists. When you say a woman, a female client, is putting up big bench numbers, a lot of men are going to assume that she's like a brick house or big, right? Both Shelly and Barbell Beauty are on Team Massive. Shelly's a client of mine. They are both basically pushing around the same amount of weight as a lot of the men in the gym. We're going to get Shelly's bench press up beyond where she thinks it can go. A Barbell Beauty is testing hers at 155 with a slingshot. But we're creeping up there. They're doing really good with their dumbbells. They're doing really good with their barbells. Michael, happy Friday, everyone. Greetings from my nasty weathered capital of Germany, Deutschland. It's snowing like crazy right now here. I wonder if I can pull it up for you guys. And Michael is on Team Massive. I think you should join Team Massive to just join Michael. He's one of the most active members of Team Massive. And let's see. Let's see if I can get you a picture of my backyard. Yeah, I think we have it. I don't know if you can see it. That's my backyard. It's currently snowing. Yep, that's it. And my heritage is Russian German. And I've shared this with Michael before. My family was from the Volga River area of Russia. They were Germans that were encouraged to come live in Russia, I believe in the late 1800s. I don't know specifically the date. And they settled on the Volga River. And my family were Volga Russians, German and Russian. And during, right before World War II, things started to get crazy with Russia, and they assumed that a lot of the Germans were sympathizers with Hitler. So a lot of the Volga Germans left Russia so they won't get prosecuted. My grandparents, I have a picture of them from, there were prison camps. What's the frozen area of Russia? I'm having a brain fart right now. The really cold area of Russia, the western area. I can't believe I'm having a brain cramp. But I have a picture of my grandparents in that area. They were taken to the area of the prison camps and they left. Yeah, Siberia. That's it. So I'm just gonna just give me 1 second here. I want to show you guys this so you know I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Just give me 1 second to see if I can find it. Find my grandparents, my great grandparents. Let's see. We'll just search one more thing and then we'll let it go. But this is a true story. This is a true story. My lineage, my great grandparents left Volga Russia. A lot of folks did during that time to come to America. I believe they settled in Wisconsin, in Kansas. But I'm in some Volga Russian groups. Oh, here they are. Okay. I found my grandparents, my great-grandparents, George and Mary Reel. And I'll show you the photo. This is an actual photo. And I found this on when I was doing research on the, what do you call it, the lineage groups. This is Siberia, 1896, my great-grandparents. You can tell where I get my good looks from. I need to rock that mustache. But that's where my family comes from, the Volga area in Russia. And they left because many of the Russian Germans were being killed at that time. So they left for Nebraska, they left for Wisconsin, and my family settled in Wisconsin. That's my story. Ernie, how's it going, Ernie? Good morning. All right, let me get a drink. We're about an hour in. We got some history lessons. And I appreciate Wesley telling me it was Siberia because I had a brain fart. So, Michael. Hey, Steve, any disadvantages in pre-exhausting muscle groups with an isolation? This is a hotly contested concept. And there will be influencers and YouTube celeries. I say celery as a mockery of celebrity, that will say, make proclamations like, not in no case would pre-exhaust ever be good. It shows no scientific advantage, right? I want you guys to always remember something. In the gym, our sanctuary, our home away from home, the place we adore, right? We are there to do what? We are there to train hard. Not only train hard in some vaporous type of generic concept, but we are there to train harder than last time, like Mr. Dude says. What does that mean? Progress. Try to get a little bit more than last time, using good form, good feel, good focus, etc., etc., right? So, as long as we are progressing and we are focused on training hard, when I say train hard, people ask, what does it mean to train hard? Well, in that bubble of training hard is a lot of art. It's a lot of personal experience. It's a lot of personal knowledge, cumulative knowledge over the years. You're in the gym, you're trying things. I like this. I don't like that. Is it reasonable? Yes, and you can keep it. There are lifters that like pre-exhaust in certain circumstances, and they find it adds value. If it creates passion for you, and in that bubble of art and passion, you are progressing and training hard, then it's okay. I don't need a scientific study to tell me it is or isn't. Because if we are training hard, however we are doing it, if we are training hard and we are controlling the weight and we are progressively overloading, then we are fine. We will always be fine. We don't need an influencer or a science-based knucklehead to tell us if what we're doing is okay. We don't need that. Lifting is not granular. It's not a narrow path. It's not a peephole. These guys have it wrong. Whether it's out of naivete, ignorance, arrogance, what do they have wrong? Am I being bold? Am I being brash? Am I being a jackass? No. I know that lifting is not that complicated, nor is it granular. As long as you have the common pillars of success in place, progressive overload, a reasonable volume, hard training, you're nailing your bulks, you're being consistent, you have sustainable training, you're going to grow. Lifting on that platform, right on that platform, you can train basically any way you want as long as it's reasonable and facilitating the things we just said. So if you want to do a little pre-exhaust, a little post-exhaust, a little superset, a little rest pause, a little this, a little that, doesn't have to be on every exercise, maybe on one exercise. I have some of my clients doing partial laterals, cheaty laterals, and then supersetting them with full range. Some of my clients doing rest pause work. Some of my clients doing threes protocol. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You piece it together. We try new things together. That's the beautiful thing about training. Freedom. As long as you have the pillars of success in place, you have the freedom to play around. It's not serious. It's not complicated. There is room for art. As long as you can train hard, as long as you can progress, right? Do you enjoy doing a superset, a pre-exhaust? Then do it. As long as you're progressing. What's the possible downside? Over the course of 10 years, there's none. What's the possible upside? You like it. It gets you motivated. You go in and attack, and you're still progressing. Whether it is placebo or real bow, doesn't matter. Lifting is not complicated, and it's not serious, and it's not granular. It's not easy. It's hard. It's hard AF. It's hard to be consistent. It's hard to nail your bulk. It's hard to move up in weight. It's hard to get really strong. But I'm bringing you guys to the land of freedom. Bringing you guys to the land of freedom. You don't have to be in shackles. You don't have to be in chains to these knuckleheads, because they are missing the bigger picture. You guys know it to be true in your heart, you do, because all you need to do is look at the last 70 years of lifting. You have guys like Marvin Eder and Reg Park, who did a lot of brutal low rep work. And then you have Steve Reeves, who kind of trained a little bit differently, and Vince Garanda, who kind of trained a little bit differently, 8x8 with limited rest between. Oh my goodness, Vince Garanda used a little bit of rest pause, a little bit of volume, junk volume, right, Vince? Junk volume, right, Vince? Rest pause doesn't work, right, Vince? Rest pause doesn't work. Are you seeing the big picture? That's only 10 years of training. Then we get into the Arnold world, and then we get into the world of Dorian versus Ronnie. Yeah, I know they abuse steroids, but still, these guys were massive before they were muscular before they jumped on the massive train. They know how to train. Let's be fair. They're not idiots. Let's not be reductionist. But outside of that, I've spent my life interviewing and working with naturals, and I can tell you they all train differently. They all do. I can tell you that with confidence because I've been around them. I have had the luxury of being around these people for work. Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler, Mike Rashid, Big J, you on and on and on. Chris Jones, John Meadows. Either worked with them, talked with them, they're in my office. Hodgstrins, on and on. Jerry Ward, on and on. On and on, on and on. They all train differently. Training is more about finding things you like to do that have progressive overload, the sustainability, reasonable exercises, and driving forward. So I can say with confidence that when these science-based knuckleheads try to remove exercises from the table or tell you that pre-exhaust will never, ever work, you can take that sucker, turn it sideways, and stick it straight up their candy ass. The Rock had it right. Zero option. Hope you and everyone on Team Massive had a good week. And I hope you guys, thank you. I really do. I appreciate it. I want you guys to understand, it's not super serious. Most of what I do is just humor. I find it humorous. And I'm being honest with you guys because I care. It's hard to hear when these people lockstep with these science-based influencers who will say, you should never, there's no scientific. Don't care. If it offends you that there's a possible way to train that falls outside of your dogmatic beliefs, you probably need to unplug from the dogma. Just being real. Nolan, client of mine, helping my friend with a program for his home gym. He has an adjustable bench and 80-pound dumbbells. Good start. It's been a while since I built a dumbbell-only program. So I don't have time to do it here. But let's whip it out real quick. That's I don't know if I'm going to build a whole program, but let's just see what we can do. Let me just pull up a Google Doc, and we'll spend a couple minutes on it, just a couple minutes. Okay. So I'm going to pull up a Google Drive. I'm going to pull up a file, and we'll spend a couple minutes. Just give me a second to get this set up, and let's just look at a few things. We shall Let me get that out of the way. Let me shrink this and I'll pull it up. Okay, present, share screen, documento. Okay, so we're going to do the old insert the table trick, and we'll just come up with, if you will work with me here, Google. Okay, so we have 2 training days right here. Each column's a training day, and we don't like Arial, so we'll go this, and we'll go centered. Where are you at? Centered there, you're hiding over here. We'll bump it up a little bit. So he has dumbbells and adjustable. So the first thing you want to do is your old dumbbell bench. Dumbbell bench. And then your second day, you have your seated dumbbell overhead. So you have chest, shoulders. Okay. Now over here, we're going to put maybe the barrel press on the second day, or like a dumbbell fly. I'd probably do the barrel press. Or you can do an incline variation if you want to add a little bit more flavor, right? And then over here, maybe you do the Arnold press, okay? And then we want to work in some other shoulders over here, maybe side laterals. And maybe we want to get in some bent over flies with the dumbbells, right? So we have a start with our chest and shoulders. Lost my voice here. Let me get a drink. We have a start. So on the old back, we can do the dumbbell row as a starter until it gets to like 3 sets of 10. And we could do the lat focused dumbbell row or the chest supported dumbbell row. And we'll just abbreviate this for the sake of sanity. So we have a couple of back exercises in here. Now, if there's a way to add pull-ups, if you can do pull-ups, that would be wonderful. But there's a chance that he's a little bit struggling with pull-ups because most people struggle with pull-ups. So we could add in the dumbbell pullover, very lat focused. And let's just say then we have a lat exercise, and we want to keep a couple lat exercises. We want to keep a couple more mid-back, upper back exercises. So we can put in the lat focused dumbbell row, the chest supported dumbbell row, the dumbbell pullover, and the dumbbell row. Plenty of options. And we are doing really well for our upper back. Now, I'm not putting these in any specific order, and you can train more than 3 days a week. I'm just showing you that as an example. What can we do for the old army warmies? We can do the incline seated dumbbell curl, of course. And we can do the hammer or pinwheel or even concentration curl. And for the old tricepticons, we could do something like the Tate press. You go like this with your dumbbells. You got to make sure to push your elbows together towards the center of your body when you lock it out. Don't just push them up mildly. You could do the dumbbell skull crushers. Or you could do a lot of volume, excuse me, the dumbbell kickbacks. You can also get on the ground and do diamond push-ups, okay? So you can do diamond push-ups, which are a little bit more tricep focused. And you can even do a bench dip if that treats your shoulders okay. So we have a lot of upper body stuff already. Now we get into the hard part, which is training the legs with only dumbbells. We are going to need to beat them up with lunges, reverse lunges, Bulgarian split squats, and we could do the old school sissy squat, which we could get a weighted vest or a backpack. Don't rule out using a backpack. And now those are quads. Those are goblet squats. You could do those, but I'm not a huge fan of goblet squats. And you can do like the dumbbell RDL. And you could do the single leg wall RDL. So there you have it. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or 22 exercises that are pretty quality. You could work these into a 2, 3, or 4 day program. I hope that helps you guys some. All right, Big Sam. Let's say you can only get 5.5 to 6 hours sleep a night due to insomnia. Yep, you can make great gains. The body is not going to shut down like a light switch. That's one of the whole body is fragile thing is way overblown in the influencer world. So you do what you can. But I will tell you guys something, and I want you to always remember this. When you train hard and nail your nutrition, the body is going to grow. Is it better to get optimal sleep? Well, it's always good to get sleep. But over the course of 10 years, if this is the lot in life you've been dealt and you never get good sleep, you are going to get big and you are going to get juicy. You will. So fear not, my friend. Michael. Another question. I might go to a second gym. Would it be okay to alternate between 2 exercise? Yeah, absolutely. The only exercise I don't like to alternate between, or the only exercise I don't like to do every second week, is the squat. I feel my central nervous system and my connective tissue need to be dialed in, and I need to be dialed into form. I feel a deconditioning if I go 2 weeks on squats. Excuse me. I don't feel this on deadlifts. On bench, you can alternate between variations. You're fine. So yes, I would squat every week. Everything else is fine. Thank you for tuning in from Team Massive and Thunderlord, looking massive in iron. Yes, you are. Richard, greetings and happy weekend. Thanks for tuning in, Richard. Big Lee. Let me get a drink. Got any form cues for JM Press? Never done it before. Starting a moderate of Lee, here's the big thing. One of the first questions starting off today was on how to do the JM press. Check it out. Let me pull up a video, shall we? On the YouTube. I got to mute it. But if you go back to the beginning, one of the first questions I got to mute. I don't want to get any. If you have anybody else's video on YouTube, it likes to take your money away. Not like I need the $3, but I don't want to get this. I don't want to get a strike or anything else. Let's see. Share screen. So you want to have your grip in a little bit from your close grip, basically about shoulder width or a little bit inside. And
press is a lot.
Whoa, let's turn that down. He's going to really exaggerate. You don't have to do that. Oh, move your chin. That's a little bit silly, Willie. You don't need to do that. Let's see what we got here. You just want to bring it down. There. See how your elbows are staying above your chest? On a close grip, your elbows will drop behind your body, right? So here your elbows are going to stay above your chest, and you're going to kind of lower it towards your chin area, throat area. See how those elbows are staying above the chest? He rolls it a little bit. You can do that. You don't need to do that. Let's see. 0 option. Thank you. I did not expect that. I'm trying to find it. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was very generous. Next pizza's on me, Big Hairy Ugly Dude. Thank you for everything. Only been in the chat the last few weeks, but I've watched all year. I can't thank you guys enough for your support. I am a small local business. I have a very successful coaching business, and every dollar matters. So I sincerely appreciate it. My family thanks you. My wife thanks you. And I thank you. Rico. Good morning, Rico. Rico from Team Massive. Rico sent me some goodies. He sent me a Christmas present. I can't thank you enough. I'll show you guys. It's hanging up on my coat rack. I'll show you guys one day what Rico sent me. Ice cold. Can't wait to hit some new PRs on squats, strict press, deads, and close grips. Any words of encouragement? Yeah. Nail your warm up sets. Get your music on and go in with a purpose. Believe. And don't ever, one of the worst things you can do, guys, is get frustrated when you don't hit those PRs. Just get invested, right? Be safe, be smart, get invested, believe and achieve. It's coming. Good things always come. You just have to be consistent and not get down. Paul, thank you so much. You guys are completely, whoops. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Paul's from Team Massive. I will have a tequila on you, sir. Thank you, kind sir. I appreciate that. All right. Where were we? Troy Kleineman. Is soreness an indicator or hard work or possibly progress? You have me on a simple program. Chest has just 2 compound presses and dips. However, my pecs are sore AF. Soreness is definitely an indicator. It's not something that will be equal between all muscle groups. My shoulders never get sore. My back is it takes just an incredible degree of brutality to get my back sore. So soreness will never be equal, and it'll never be equal between individuals, right? But it is definitely an indicator if you have progressive overload in the mix that you're doing something right. Chest, when I spent a year messing around with the bulldozer rest pause protocol way back when, I did bench press, escalating bulldozer. I did dumbbell bench for 5 sets only. And then I did close grip bench, 3 exercises. Never been more sore in my life because of the brutality. That's why earlier when I talked about brutality and the art of training and pre-exhaust, don't let anybody talk you out of brutality or the art of training. So yeah, it's all about the old cumulative stress rather than how many exercises or how many sets or how many reps. Excuse me. Does getting sore hammy whammies the day after doing conventional deadlifts mean you did the lift with the right form? Doesn't mean you did it with the right form. Doesn't mean you did it with the wrong form. One thing you will learn, one thing I learned about hamstrings is that on deadlifts and squats, the quads are typically stronger than the hammies. The glutes and hips are typically stronger than the hammies. So you can squat and only feel hamstring soreness, but that doesn't mean you're doing anything right or wrong, right? It just means you have hamstring soreness. Sometimes the weak muscle group in the mix will get the most sore, even though your quads or your back or whatever is getting absolute hammered. So it doesn't mean it does mean you're probably onto something, but it doesn't mean that you have perfect angelic handed down from God form. No, let me check your form. 0, thank you for answering my question last week. Much appreciated. My pleasure. And you guys don't hesitate to post up all the questions you want. Hey, woke up this morning and hit 285. Wanted to let you know we hit our goal for the end of the year. Nice work. Really good job, and headed into the Santa week. That's a good way to head into next week. Congratulations. 20 pounds down is no small feat, and that is a big accomplishment. Joe is a client of mine. Super happy to hear that. Troy, I suffer from occasional sciatica, which usually lasts a week or so. Is it reasonable to attack squats and deads? Yeah, you just have to listen to things during your warm-up sets. The key with injury management is do your warm-up sets. If anything feels off unusual, pull the trigger. If you're uncertain headed in on squats and deads, just go lighter on that first set. There's no harm in going lighter. The only thing you're going to do is hold strength, right? The worst comes to worst, we just want to hold. We want to hold the line. And as long as you're doing a little bit of something, we're holding the line. Holding the line can allow you to, allow that injury to get a little bit better, if that makes sense. Still snowing outside. Milan, how's it going, Milan? Thanks for tuning in. 0. Lost this week's training to illness. Sorry to hear that. Looking to resume next lifting week when breathing gets better. Do I repeat previous weeks? If it's been more than 10 days, drop weight by 10%, just to be safe. Worst comes to worst, it feels light and you feel good, and then you get back on track next week. So it wasn't the man flu, no matter what my wife kept saying. Whatever your wife says it was, okay? Learn. Amen, brother. Pay it forward. The only way to go. Thank you. How often would you measure your body parts to check both results and avoid getting obsessed? You probably want to check monthly. Any more than that, and what's the point of measuring your arms, right? You're going to grow about an inch a year if you're lucky. And if you measure every week, you're probably just going to get frustrated. Big Mike M. Finally getting back to the gym after recovering from the big cold. Would you recommend dropping my working weight? Yeah. Especially with that illness, drop it 20%. Be smart. Worst thing is that you feel really good and you're ready to go back to full speed the next week. Soy sauce banana. Thoughts on the bench progression? 7 sets. Try to hit 50 reps. Hey, I love it. I love defined progression schemes. They might not make sense to anybody else, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I love defined rep targets. I love big goals. I love focus goals, right? They're fun goals. Things like this don't have to make sense to anybody else. They're just fun goals. Now, the magic with these types of things is you have to allow yourself the flexibility to change the target once you are in the gym. So let's say you get in there, you're doing 7 sets, and you're trying to hit 50 reps, and you say, South, that last set sucked. I only want to do 6 sets. Instead of changing programs, switch to 6 sets and maybe a rep goal of 45 or 42. Don't feel like you have to stick to the initial concept, right? Instead of jumping programs, I didn't like that, I'm going to jump to a new program. Instead of doing that, evolve it. One of the things I teach, evolve programming based on needs. D16 got boost. Hi, Steve. Is it okay to strictly bench press with an elite FTS American grip camber bar? Yeah, absolutely. More of a neutral grip. It's not going to harm you at all. You can still get that good chest feel. It works more like a barrel press. You can get big and strong. And it has a big progression opportunity. And absolutely. Let me get a drink. I got to tell you something. This is my favorite glass that I've ever had. It's thick. Like you could beat somebody over the head with it and they would not have a good day. It's huge. It's thick. I don't know who made this sucker, but my wife probably hates it because I live with this thing, but it's like doing a curl every time you pick it up. It's so heavy. It's not like thin like a normal glass. This feels like you could throw it at a car and it would bounce off. So that's my story. Do you think swapping 3x10 hack squats for 2x10 Bulgarians is a reasonable swap? Good question. We'd have to look at the context of your overall program. So what we want to do is kind of look at the overall cumulative variety or assortment of exercises, if it makes sense. If you have like squats and leg presses and Bulgarians, yeah, absolutely. If you only had leg presses and then you added in Bulgarians and took out hacks, then we might want to consider alternating or something like that. But it does depend on the overall bigger picture of the program, if that makes sense. If you want to post up all the quad exercises you're doing, I'd be happy to run through that with you. Heard many times in the past about moving the bar slightly away from the ankles on the lower. No. This is so arbitrary. On an RDL, the point is to drive the glutes back while keeping the bar close to the body. If the bar is moving away from it's not like there's magic in keeping the bar close to your thighs on an RDL. But the point of an RDL is to drive your glutes back to load the hamstrings. If the bar is too far forward, you're just going to place stress on your lower back. By keeping it close to your quads, you're going to facilitate that hamstring stress. It's not about depth. And what is arbitrarily... I can't even get the bar down to my ankles on an RDL. If you can, you might not be doing an RDL. You might be chasing depth. So understand that an RDL is not about depth. It's about loading the hamstrings. There's a lot of confusion. I don't think a lot of internet coaches actually know what an RDL is or what the function is. You push your glutes back to load the hamstring. The bar lowers because you're pushing your glutes back. You're not trying to lower the bar as low as possible. That's not an RDL. An RDL, you push the glutes back like you're trying to push somebody behind you. And in the process, your knees can bend slightly and you load your hamstrings. So you stop when your glutes can no longer lose or go back, and then you push your hips forward and repeat while keeping your lower back tight. So it's not an exercise in how low you can go or anything like that. And anybody that is, there might be the bar might naturally move a little bit forward, but it has to stay close to your body or else you're stressing your lower back. So I've not heard this. Whoever is saying it, I'd like to know the context, because an RDL is not about depth. And the bar at your ankles, that's like no one can get that deep on an RDL. At that point, they're just lowering the weight and it's no longer an RDL. I'm not saying that exercise would be inherently bad. What I'm telling you is that would no longer be an RDL. How do you stop yourself from ego lifting? You hire me as a coach. I will lock your shit up and square your shit away faster than you can say shit sandwich on a Sunday morning. I will square you away and polish off the rough edges. That's how I will stop you from ego lifting. I will stop you from bunching that bench, and I'll stop you from cheating those reps. In all seriousness, if you guys don't want to sign up for coaching, have me form check you. Come on over to Team Massive, the Discord group. I will tell you, what you're doing wrong. We're not chasing reps. Well, you can chase reps. You just still have to do it in a controlled manner so you don't beat up your body, because that facilitates muscle growth and that facilitates future strength. Let me look at your form. I'll lock you up. I've noticed that when I started doing close grip benches, my grip with his thumb inside the knurling, my overhead press significantly increased. Not surprised. You always remember, while some people will say bench doesn't contribute to overhead and overhead doesn't contribute to bench and Pendley doesn't contribute to deadlift and blah, 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 strength contributes to strength. Always does, always will in every case. Make sense? Think about this. If you can Pendley row, explosive row, 405 pounds off the ground for 5 reps, what do you think you're going to be able to deadlift? 600? Probably. Did the Pendley row create the deadlift? Or is it a sign that strength you're working on strength, well-rounded, and well-rounded strength creates strength in other areas. Yes, it does. That's the bigger picture. I've seen some people say overhead doesn't contribute to bench. Bench doesn't contribute to overhead. Strength leads to strength. Would you want to try to build a 315-pound bench press and never do overhead presses? That would not be a good idea. So think of them as synergistic. You want to build strength in the massive iron way. Build as much strength as you can from head to toe. Get everything from head to toe as big and as strong as humanly possible. HG6 skills. I just keep thinking I'll be stuck at the same weight for so long. Anybody that continues to train relentlessly, focuses their calorie intake, and is consistent and does sustainable training will always eventually make progress. Is this a reasonable structure for a back and bicep day? Deadlift, likey. Dumbbell row, likey. Seated cable row, likey. Pull-ups, likey. Dumbbell curls. That is brilliant. That's straight from the Massive Iron playbook. Really good selection of exercises, really top-notch exercises. Top tier, top shelf. Love it. You got your deadlift, which is good for your mid-back, your rhomboids, your upper back, your upper traps, your lower traps, your erectors, your dumbbell rows, which is good for your back and your lats. You see the cable rows, which is arguably one of the best cable exercises, if not the best. Big progression opportunity and a good backup or complement for the dumbbell rows because you get a lot of impact without a lot of fatigue. And pull-ups. What can you say about pull-ups that hasn't already been said? Dumbbell curls, great. And then you have another curl variation in the mix that you like, preacher curl. Zero option. Is this even a question? Come on. I'm an alien guy all the way, 100%. All the way. I don't have anything against the Predator movies, but I'm an alien guy, 100%. Horned frog. Have you ever had a client who was later diagnosed with aortic aneurysm? I have dealt with a lot of things over the years. I've had it's a bulge in the aorta. I have had clients with a lot of things. Heart issues, lung issues, kidney issues, you name it, scoliosis, mental issues. Just kidding. Eating I've had them all. I don't know. I can't say specifically no, but I've dealt with a little bit of everything over the years. I will say what we really focus on is doing what we can. Whatever the doctor gives us the freedom to do, we do what we can do as hard as we can. Big J Song, happy Christmas. Thanks to you. How much time do you put for recovery? I'm not sure if I understand the question. I mean, basically, you want to look at how many days a week you can train sustainably. 3, 4, 5. What's your schedule like? What does it allow? And then you have to really analyze, am I missing workouts? Like you can wake up and you can say, tomorrow I'm going to wake up and I'm going to train 6 days a week because I can and I have the time. You might have the time. Are you making it to the gym though, right? Or do you like to do other things, which is okay. I like to do other things. I do. That doesn't take away from my love of lifting. I like to do other things. So how many days a week can you train? And are you actually training that many times? And do you enjoy it? And from there, you ask yourself, am I recovering? Do I feel fresh, reasonably fresh in the morning? If not, probably need to drop a day. Wesley. Did standing tricep extensions with a press at the top, gold, hit all 3 heads. Good. That's what I love about lifting. If you post that on like YouTube or Instagram or somewhere, someone's going to bust your balls because you did something that doesn't make sense to them. You did a compound variation that doesn't make sense to them, and they're going to get all crabby, right? But I applaud you because lifting can be fun, and if you like it, go for it. Just crush the living crap out of it. Martin Klein of mine, talk us through your proudest achievements of this year, both on an individual level and where do I begin? Last year at this time, I won the Coach of the Year. It was an emotional time, to say the least. Trainerize, which is the world's largest coaching app, and many of you are familiar with it and probably never heard of it. They have 400,000 fitness professionals on there. Everybody. Gyms and Chris Gethin and all the top Hollywood trainers. Everybody. 400,000 fitness professionals. Last year, I won the Online Coach of the Year, beating out 400,000 other people. My brain can't even fathom that. If I did nothing else right in the rest of my life, that's the Super Bowl. That's to be number one in your industry at what you do. No one can ever take that away. Even if somebody says, what was it based on? Or what were the criteria? I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't know and I don't care. I climbed ahead as a 56-year-old man, about 400,000 people, and I can sleep well at night not caring about the criteria because I care about you guys. Whether you believe my system or think I'm an idiot or think I'm too critical of this, that, or the other thing, I have your back. And I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to crush the living shit out of my day for your benefit. I do that every day. It's not just talk. The second I'm out of bed, I'm messaging Team Massive good morning. And I do their form checks and I answer their questions and I hop around and I answer Instagram questions and YouTube questions. Everything I do is for your benefit. Most of what I do on a given day is for free. To be able to do this for a living on top of that is a wonderful thing. And trust me, I want more clients. I do. Everybody wants more clients. Even though I won the top coach of the year, I could always use another 5 clients. Who wouldn't want it? Right? It's a business. You always want people coming in your doors. I don't like to overly push things down people's throats. I stay pretty full. I do. I'd like to let people know my coach. I don't have to like always actively seek them. I'm just babbling on. Big accomplishments this year. I almost won coach. I got in the final 5 again. I didn't win. I didn't figure I'd win. I figured they'd give it to somebody else because, who wants to keep giving it to the same schmuck every year, right? But I got in the top 5 again. That's like winning the Super Bowl and then getting back into the Super Bowl the next year. So I'm very proud of that. Client accomplishments, I got so many folks I'm so proud of that I can't even begin to express. It's just endless. I will say this year more than any year, I think my coaching gets better. And I feel in a good place. I feel like I've had so many wonderful stories this year. Being able to work with people like Shelley and Martin and Harud and Big Justin Jones, who's lost almost 200 pounds, and on and on and on. I get to work with Ben from Canada and all my favorite people, Big Bob Miller, and I can't, like, Big Bill Baker, and it just goes on and on. Like Thick Daddy, and his wife, just wonderful people. It just goes on and on and on. And I want you guys to know something. Like, I know it would be cliche to say you're not a number to me, but I care about these people. And I hate to see them go when they go. Most of my clients stay on longer than a year. Some people have to go. I had a client today whose dad's in the hospital, not doing well, and he has to take a break from coaching. I don't want to see him go, right? I understand. But I don't know. I love what I do. And there's so many amazing client stories. I don't even want to begin to try to name everybody because I couldn't. Nolan is just absolutely crushing things. I'm so proud of Nolan. We all have a little bit of ups and downs, but Nolan's just crushing things. It just goes on and on and on. Personal, I don't know, man. Another year under the belt. Is my training optimal or amazing? Not where it could be, but I get to work with you guys. And at some point, it's about you, not just me. I've climbed every mountain, and it's not like I don't like benching 265 for 10 sets of 10. I did that this year. People are like, why don't you post more videos? Why don't you post more training stuff? Why don't you talk about your training more? Because it really is about you guys. And I like that right now. I like putting food on my table, helping you guys. And I like it is about you guys. You're all I think about all day long. So yeah, I still do stuff. I do seated. There's a right there is a seated triceps press down station with like 270 pounds on it. I did 3 sets of 20. You know, is it crazy strong work? Yeah. Am I going to make videos and brag about it? No. It's just more about my clients these days. Michael, I found using a lifting belt helping with pulling down weight much heavier than my body weight. Yeah, and I was thinking about the lat pull down thing. If you can get like got some cooties up in here. If you can get like a backpack or something that you might be able to toss a 25 in it just to counterweight, or maybe I don't know, something like a dip squat or something backwards with 25. There's got to be a way to rig it up. Ankle weights, knee weights, having somebody pull you down. It's ionic, not bionic. I walk around my office lobby for 20 out of 30 minutes. That's a good way to attack things. When it comes to the winter, you just got to get in some steps, doing whatever you can, walking around a table, chasing the wife, chasing the dog, whatever you got to do. Chase the dog around sometimes when my wife is gone, I just get out the tennis balls and roll them around the kitchen, let the dogs go after them just to get in a little bit general activity. Big Troy. Love the ice levels in your drink. The main thing I like about USA is that ice isn't a luxury item. Ask for ice in the UK and you get a single cube. I didn't know that. I got an ice maker, man. I got an ice maker up in my on my fridge. I got an ice maker up in my bar. I got a bar. I like to put a lot of ice in my drink. That way I know I'm getting in like half water, half energy drink. You know what I'm saying? Wesley says ladder stair jumps. Fair. Your Evo has a walking pad with auto incline for 200. That's good to know. I want to get a walking pad, but I've not pulled the trigger on one yet. I've not added a single rep to my standing barbell overhead press in the last 10 weeks. And I've lost around 8 kilos of weight. Is that correct? Now, Wisso, I want to make sure. I assume you've lost 8 kilos of weight. That's a lot of weight. It's going to be really hard to add weight to your presses and maintenance. And then if you're in a calorie deficit, which is really good, I applaud you for getting the weight off. He said body weight. You really can't expect to add any reps onto your overhead press. If you get them, they're gold. I mean, if you're a beginner, you can probably do so, but losing weight, you're just lucky you haven't lost a few reps. I'm just being honest. Is it true that muscle can be built in the 6 to 30 rep range? Generally, scientifically it is, but who the heck wants to work above really 20 reps? So that's just a little bit on the silly side. It's impractical, etc. Generally, you want to work within, it's basically 5 to 12. And for some of the isolation movements, you can go up to 15. For some leg stuff, I like to go up to 20. But as long as it's a reasonable rep range. So, yeah, I can't train heavy. Well, don't think of in terms of training heavy. Think of terms of having a progression approach that turns into relative heavy or relative strength. Michael, say you're bulking, go to a very rare event like a Christmas dinner at work. What do you do with your calorie calculations? You take them, you walk over to the toilet, and you put them in the toilet and you flush it, because we do not count calories during celebrations. We celebrate. One aberrant, one crazy day, all it's going to do is give you a little water weight. People that gain 10 pounds over the course of a year generally are doing 2-3 times a week where they're abusing their body. One day doesn't mean crap to me. The only thing I don't like to do is anything I regret when it comes to food. This month, my hook grip got stronger, and now I can handle 3-plate deadlifts. Good. Yesterday, I was goofing around to do the last 2 sets of my 5x5 and held up fine. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Not always easy to master the hook grip. Is body part split the best option for someone who struggles? It's certainly a great option, yeah. Older individuals, more mature individuals that don't have the recovery of a youngster can benefit from a body part split. Doesn't mean they need to do excessive amounts of volume. And yeah, don't be hung up on split. Use a split that works for you. It absolutely can be. In addition to my previous question, I have also realized that my form starts to break down when I train heavy, and there's not much tension on the muscle compared to when I train. So form breaks down. Okay, form is going to break down at the end of a set, pretty much, depending on the exercise at different points, but that's normal. Form's always going to break down if you push sets harder and deeper. There's not much tension on the muscle compared to when I train. Well, all I can say is take it on an exercise by exercise basis and put in a rep range that works for you, as long as you have progression. David, how's it going? David, thanks for tuning in. Cowboy Bill from France, thanks for tuning in. Michael, thank you, sir. Simonson, did you get a chance to view the video of Ohio football strength training? I have it, but I haven't had a chance. I'm going to watch it this weekend, so I don't have any opinions. Somebody sent it to me, and I have not had a chance. I've been absolutely slammed since Black Friday. Years ago, Alex made a point that you can't hurt your lower back on cheat rows. Well, yes, you can. I'm not going after Alex here, but I'm going after the concept. You absolutely can. Cheat rows definitely aren't for novices with weak lower backs. That's true. But I can tell you, as an experienced lifter, somebody that has deadlifted, I posted a video of myself on Team Massive pulling 700 for 2 reps on the deadlift. And I don't like to say I did things without showing them. I'm going to show you the video real quick, but I'm going to qualify something. There's a reason why I'm showing you the video, because I want to qualify. I want to clarify. Hold on a sec. Let me find it. Shan't be too long. Okay, hold on. 635. There we go. I don't know why I searched for it. I couldn't find it. Okay, here's my big old butt. Big old back in the days of the dungeon. So we're going to present. This is going somewhere. Hang tough. So this me, back in the days of the dungeon, 700 pounds loaded, no chains. I used to train with chains back then. This has no chains. And this was at 346 pounds, probably a couple weeks before my meet attempt at that weight. 700. Good speed, good lockout 1. You can see no chains. Good speed, good lockout 2. Probably could have got 4 or 5. This was the set I knew back then that I had a chance at deadlifting 800, because that was an easy 2 with 700. So, what is my point in posting this, right? My point is, I've been able to do that. I've been able to do a pendlay row for 405 by 5. I've been able to do dumbbell rows with an incredible amount of weight. But I'm still susceptible to lower back stress because the lower back is still the weakest muscle group in the mix. So anybody can hurt their back on any of this stuff, especially a cheat row. How does a natural stay encourage 2 to 3 years in when they feel like their physique is still mid and ugly? You get a coach like me. Let me help you. Come on, guys. Sign up. Get rid of all those supplements. Get rid of those terkesterones and those $200 cookbooks. Get rid of Hulu. Get rid of Voodoo. Get rid of Doo-Doo. Sign up for coaching. Let me help you. Let me help you guys get on track. It's only $89.40 after the first month. Let me work with you. Let me guide you. Just sign up for the minimum commitment, 3 or 4 months. Let's get it going. Let's look under the hood. Let's figure out what we can figure out. The 2 influencers I find that motivate me are you and an Eric guy who got lost for a year in the science-based crap. Thank you. I appreciate that, Wesley. I really do. If you have a name for him, I'd like to take a look. People think I'm anti-science. Nothing can be further from the truth. I'm anti-nonsense. I'm anti-fake science. Big, hairy, ugly dude. I tore my AC joint. That doesn't sound good. How would you work around pressing movements? Well, Becky Decky feels good. Thank you for the laugh. The only thing we can do with any injury is determine which exercises we can do. From there, you want to build out a quality selection for the muscle groups you can. And let's say there's only 2 exercises you can do for shoulders. Then you do them, and you do them hard. Does that make sense? If you need any more help, just let me know. Hulk Salami. Rest in peace to Jerry Ward, indeed. Josh Sue. I was lost in the bullshit for almost 3 years. Thank God I woke up. Thank God you woke up. Good to hear it. Calico Riot. I like going from 0 IR on all sets, but in a cut, I can't gauge 0. Yeah, in a cut, your glycogen depleted, your energy's depleted. You always want to play safe in a cut. Save the big bullets for the bulk. I'm not saying you can't train hard and you can't add a rep here or there in a cut, but save the big bullets for the bulk. Does that make sense? I don't get involved with RIR because I like to stay more intuitive. No disrespect to anything, but just be smart and save the big bullets for the bulk. My schedule is changing around the holidays, so I need to work out 4 days in a row. What split would you recommend? So I'm going to toss one your way. It's not the only one, but it is one. You can do upper, okay? Chest, shoulders, arms, or 4 days in a row. Upper, chest, shoulders, okay? Posterior, legs back. Chest, shoulders, upper. That's your upper day. Press day. Press posterior. Chest, shoulders, legs back, full body. Okay, so on your full body, you're going to fill in the gaps with any pressing, pulling, kind of lighter movements. So you can do like your side lateral raises, your pecky decky, your dumbbell bench. You can do whatever you want on the full body. We really hit the chest and the shoulders and the legs and the back, the 4 major areas the first 2 days. We haven't really done any direct arm work. Then you can fill in the gaps on the full body on day 4. And then on day 5, you can do a junk day, which could be like arms and anything else you couldn't fit in, calves, abs, traps, whatever. So a good 4-day in a row, I might make a video about this, is upper, which is chest and shoulders, posterior, full, and junk. Let me know if you need any more help on that. All right, where am I at? Wesley. My boy started high school this year, and he smashed the school. Nice, SBD record. I am 56, grew up in gyms, miss the old Nautilus cam machines for the icing on the cake. I really miss having access to a Nautilus pullover. It's just a brilliant thing for the back. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful piece of machinery. DDPY can be fun indoor activity. DDP yoga. Yeah, it definitely can. He's got a good thing going on. Harut, if you had infinite money and resources, what's the first fitness study you would run? Probably run from fitness studies. Man, if I had infinite money and resources, I'd just lift all day and run all day. I don't know if I could run a study, I would definitely run some interesting ones. I mean, if you had infinite money, you could attract some people that were really, really serious about lifting and make it worth their time. I don't know. Probably a long-term study with a wide variety of training styles, just to show it really, really doesn't matter. A long-term study over 5 years to show none of the minutia matters is probably the most important thing we could ever admit. Merry Christmas. Thank you, sir. Coach, can you speak to living and training with existing injuries and older lifters? Too many think any injury means training should stop. There is a panic around injuries that somehow if you get injured, you're doing something wrong or you should stop. News flash, not to Thick Daddy, who was a client of mine, but to anybody, you are all going to break down. Choose how you're going to break down. You can break down on the couch with a box of ho-hos and ding-dongs and wing-wangs and nim-nuts. Or you can break down in the gym. I don't care how anybody breaks down. Life is short. Life is valuable. You want to smoke and eat a box of nim nuts every night? Go right ahead. It's your life. I'm not walking in your shoes. I don't know your struggles. I don't know your past. There's a lot of terrible things in this life and a lot of terrible things people are put through. It's not my point to judge. But I will tell you that being a warrior feels fucking great. It does to me. Maybe not to you. Why did I try to run 52 hours? Because I like being a fucking warrior. It felt fucking good. Why do you climb the mountain? Why do you put 600 pounds on your back? Why do you try to run for 52 hours? Why do you do any of this stuff? Because life is short and it feels fucking awesome to see what you're capable of. So while I mean no ill will to somebody sitting on the couch eating a box of nim nuts, that's not how I want to live. I want to live with memories, a big fucking box of memories, thinking back of all the things I tried, all the things I've accomplished. I never became the best at anything other than the best coach, which still I'm laughing because I can't believe it. I never became the best bodybuilder, the best power lifter, the best ripped athlete, the best ultra runner, the best nothing. But I got a big fucking box of memories. No one can take that away from me. And at the end of the day, that is really what it's all about. That's what I wish for each and every one of those that I work with, that they do something this year that they didn't think they were capable of. When Shelley Turner says she didn't think she was capable of benching X, Y, or Z, and she does, that's what it's really about, not specific numbers. So I'm kind of getting away from the whole injury thing. But being a warrior, you're going to pick them up. And hopefully they're nothing serious. But man, you live long enough, you see serious, and you see life and good things to bad people and bad things to good people. And it doesn't make any sense. But all we can do is move fucking on. Move on. Make the day count. Make the day count. Because bad things are going to happen. Injuries are going to happen. But don't be tethered by them. Don't be tethered by injuries or bad times. That doesn't mean we are emotionless. That doesn't mean we don't have feelings. That doesn't mean we process or have memories in life. It doesn't. We're human. That's all part of the human experience. But move forward and do things. Don't let yourself down. Continue forward. Whatever is pulling you down, find what you can do and maximize it, right? There's going to be times when if I make it to 77, I won't be able to deadlift nothing. I'd be lucky to be able to do anything other than sitting on the couch eating a box of Nim Nuts, right? But I might want to walk to the end of the block in under 3 minutes. That might be my challenge. Just fight. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Be a warrior. Fight. A warrior doesn't worry about the limitations. A warrior worries about winning the battle that is ahead. Maybe it's a self-created challenge. Maybe it's just getting through a shitty day, right? Instead of adapting to existing injuries, you always got to find what you can do. When anybody comes to me with injuries, I say, let's figure out what we can do and let's do it hard. And we just do that hard until we can't do that hard. Thank you, Big Joe B. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas, Coach and Team Massive. Anyone on the fence about coaching, it's worth every penny. Thank you. Come over to Discord and road test the community. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. Joe is a client of mine, absolutely crushing it right now. Paladin PD from Team Massive. Have you ever tried doing a set of lengthened partials? I've done everything. I think I'm so old I invented everything. I was doing things I didn't even know were things. You know what I'm saying? In the queue, pull the hips closer to the bar. Is the cue, pull the hips closer to the bar, good as you're about to pull the bar off the floor on the deadlifts. Yeah, anything that helps you lock out. The deadlift has two opposing horizontal planes, okay? So you have your hips and you have your shoulders. Let's say your hips are above your shoulders, okay? Hips are above your shoulders. Hips, shoulders, center your shoulders, hips, okay? As you're trying to lock out, your shoulders are forward, shoulder forward, hips back, okay? We pull at opposing planes. So I think hips forward, head back. Hips forward, head back. Hips forward, head back, opposing planes. That creates that middle point, that leverage point, that lever. That drives the lever. That drives the leverage. That drives the acceleration. Hips forward, head back. Hips forward, head back. That's what I think. So when you say pull the hips closer to the bar, hips forward, head back. Hips forward, head back. I try and do that at the same time. I got you. I got you. Can you do 2 trap exercises after delt? Absolutely. I like delt and trap days because traps are worked with delts and delts work the trap. So yeah, you can absolutely do one big and beefy and one more mind and feely. That'd be fine. Appreciate the reply on my post on Discord on my new workout program. I feel like most people skip their warm-up before workouts. Warm-up is always going to be highly personal, so you do you. Like everybody has a different amount of time in gym. So you do whatever feels good for you on warm-ups as long as you have the time to do it. Bench press grip width for maximum chesticle growth. Usually it's a little bit wider than we think. I like, everybody's different, limb lengths and leverages and whatnot. But usually it's probably at least a couple inches wider than where most people are now. So I don't want you to inherently just throw your grip width out to a crazy level, but have me take a look at it and maybe consider when it crossed my mind that I should maybe consider benching a little bit wider. I moved it out a pinky a month until I was like to the point where I felt there was a good balance, if that makes sense. Dumbbell Y raises for rear delt and trap development. Traps, I mean, it's going to have a little icing, sprinkles on icing on the cake for traps. I have nothing against it. You need some exercises like that for one exercise like that for rear delt. So I think that's fair. That's definitely reasonable. My shoulder has been bothering me a little, specifically the back part next to the shoulder blade. Would you recommend additional warm-ups? Sometimes if it's connective tissue, sometimes additional warm-ups can make it feel worse. So I would advise maybe trying that to see if it feels better, adds value, or makes it worse. But understand, sometimes adding too much extra movement to an injury or condition can actually make it feel worse. Sometimes it just needs to be left alone. So it's really dependent on the nature of the injury, if that makes any sense. You have to test it, though. Big Billy Benson. I'm 37 at 129, trying to be 155. Have a high metabolism and on a bulk, and I eat clean. You shouldn't be feeling hungry. And that's not judgment, but no. You shouldn't feel hungry after. I don't care about a macro meal, right? And I'm not being disrespectful. Whatever, a meal is a meal, right? If you're trying to gain weight, you shouldn't be hungry after a good solid meal. You should feel satisfied. And be careful when you say clean. I want to make sure you're getting in enough fats, because fats are not the enemy. I don't know what you're eating, so I'm not judging and saying you're not. But make sure you're getting in your fat so you can get those calories up. Let me get a drink. If you're Wisso is losing fat, just get that fat off, man, to the point where you want to get back to the bulk. Cold weather triggers a healed old injury. Yeah, it can do a lot of crazy things, right? Just ordered a massive iron beanie, as I heard there are at least 10% more gains in the cold season. Can you confirm? Absolutely, 100%. It's a plus 10 hat of gains thinking. Makes sense. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Same to you. I got about 5 questions left, guys. So last call. I have made doing sets below 10 reps on all my compound movements a staple, as I seem to not grow much doing reps above 12. Yeah, you can definitely have exercises where your cardiovascular system becomes more of a limiter or general fatigue. So that's a good thing to be aware of. Unless I'm doing 20 rep squats, then you're seeing like Jesus and Buddha and hallucinations. You're seeing alien drones in the sky, all kinds of things. You would like Dr. Todd Lee's Science Channel. Maybe I'll check it out. Not heard that name before. Is it bad to do biceps after back? No, not at all. That's a good thing to do. No, you're not going to get reduced arm growth. That's what I've done all my life. There's always going to be something at the end of a workout. The things at the tail end of a workout aren't going to experience less growth in the beginning. That's why we have degradation of exercise choices, from compounds to milder compounds to machines to more isolation stuff, because it's easier to do an isolation when you're fatigued than it is to do a compound when you're fatigued. So no, it's not. Compounds are going to build the majority of your size. So basically, by doing isolations at the end, you're still doing quality work. You're just doing as much as you can in a fatigued state. I have a problem deciding between an Arnold split. Any recommendations? Do both. Create a program where you work them both in. They're not too far off. So, or run 2 different phases, commit to 2 different phases. That could be fun as well. Don't think my message went through. I have to work out 4 days in a row. Yep, it did go through. And I recommended an upper with chest and shoulders, a posterior with legs and back, and then a full body, and then a junk day with more arm work. Big Sam. Do you think that split spinal loading exercises are a no-go for someone with uneven hip leg lengths? Not necessarily. I have had Special Olympians with different leg sizes, leg lengths, and many hip or knee surgeries. I have some clients that have a difference in leg length. It's not necessarily a something to avoid, because you might run into the same issue on leg press or hack squats, etc. But you do want to try them mildly to see how they feel. So I wouldn't say there's any blanket statement. And I'm not a doctor. I don't want you to do something that feels uncomfortable, but just be smart about what you do. Do you need, anytime we hear need in the massive iron world, we have to be careful, because there's not much you need. Do you need an arm day? No. Do you need solid arm work? Yes. Are compounds enough for maximal arm size? No. Anybody that says it is generally involved in the Kool-Aid drinking of the cult of barbell. All you need is barbell exercise. Well, no, actually not. Compounds are great, and they provide the bread and butter, the 60 to 70% of your arm size, but you still need other stuff. Do you need an arm day to achieve that? No. 20 rep squats. You're seeing Jesus. Yes, you are. So you're seeing something. Getting gymnastic rings for Christmas. Excellent. Can't wait to play around with them. I've had more than many clients over the years that have them, and definitely a fun little inexpensive tool. Tom Platz used to say, by the time you hit 20 reps on squats with the same weight, when you should work up to 30, 40, 50 reps with. Well, a lot of people say a lot of things. God bless Tom, and he can do whatever he wants, but I'm not doing that. No way. Simonson, you're seeing Jesus, Buddha. Hopefully, I'd rather see Jesus and Buddha than the last one. Should you equalize pulling with pushing movements? Well, we don't want to create arbitrary formulas, but you do want balance, right? You do want a reasonable balance. In the massive iron world, usually it's 1-to-1. 1-to-1 is a good place to start, but we don't have to stay there. Stay close. I asked about squats for uneven leg lengths because I love squats. When you are squatting, think about driving your butthole straight down to the ground. This will help shifting. You like that's a big, hairy, ugly dude Christmas dance, right? Drive your butthole straight down to the ground when you're squatting. That'll help you stay centered. And if that doesn't work, then just move on from squats. Whistle, I would die on a 50 rep squat. Yeah, I'd die on rep 21. Tom one time did 2 yeah, that's something I'm never going to do. All right, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Come back next Friday at 11 Eastern. Wonderful questions, wonderful conversations today. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please head over to the description box of any videos I put out this past week and join Massive Iron Discord. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next Friday. And I hope Santa is good to you. And we are out.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.